If you've ever felt like a number at your brokerage with minimal support, pay very close attention to this video because I'm about to share with you a game-changing policy that EXP has just implemented that is going to affect new agents and seasoned agents that are joining the brokerage as of now. Now, EXP already had a game-changing model that a lot of other brokerages are starting to adopt even for themselves, but this co-sponsorship opportunity with EXP completely changes the game because now it gives you the ability, whether you're brand new or a seasoned agent or a team lead or even a broker, to come in and have two mentors helping you on your real estate journey. And what I'd like to do is break down this program for you today. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Levi Lascsak and I closed over 482 homes in my first 4 years as a brand new real estate agent with zero experience. I never cold called, door knocked, or sent out a single postcard. I was able to do all of this through the power of YouTube. And now I've been able to train thousands of other agents on this exact program. We wrote the #1 best-selling book, Passive Prospecting, and we're the only YouTube coaching program that is approved with EXP and the EXP Elevate coaching platform. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people come and join us every single week at EXP. Now this year, my partner Travis Plumb right now is #2 in the state of Texas. He'll take over #1 here shortly. He's #10 in the nation, and I know he'll be #1 probably within the next quarter because we have so many agents that are coming to us because they want to partner, because they want to learn YouTube from the team that has built the biggest and best channel as far as conversion goes. Yeah, maybe some might have a few more subscribers here and there, but I'm not hearing of the numbers that we produce out of our channel. And we really focus on the conversion aspect. Yes, we do like attracting those leads, but you've got to be able to convert them on the back end as well. But this has drawn a lot of agents to us, which is why agents reach out to us every single day. And that link is in the description below, by the way. If you want to book a call with myself and Travis to see if you're a good fit, then we offer something that a lot of agents are looking for. Again, whether you're brand new or seasoned, they want to really understand and adopt YouTube into your business. And I get it. If you're a seasoned agent, you're probably sick and tired of the cold calling and the door knocking and the constant follow-up. And then also whenever you actually leave your market or you go on vacation or go to a conference, you feel like you're missing out or you're not prospecting at a certain time, or you feel like that's when everything happens in your business. And so it's a challenge. And then of course, new agents that are coming into real estate right now, they don't necessarily want to do the traditional methods that most real estate agents are used to and that type of training that they're getting from most brokerages. We recently had a new agent join us who just left a brokerage that was really kind of leading them down the old school path of the cold calling and the door knocking and bugging friends and families, and they just did not feel comfortable with that. And hey, I get it. Now, it's one thing to work past that, and I think everyone has the capability to do that, but ultimately if you don't want to do those types of things, it's just not fun. It doesn't make the business fun. And that was the same way I felt whenever I got into real estate in 2020. I didn't want to be a traditional agent. At the same time, 2020 was not an ideal time for meetups, for shaking hands and kissing babies. Remember the whole 6-foot rule, and so there wasn't a lot going on. You definitely weren't going to be door knocking during that time, and cold calling, I mean, I just wasn't going to do it. I've done that before previously in my sales career, but I was just at a point now where I wanted to do something different. I wanted to attract that business. So therefore, I studied and researched YouTube for a couple of months. I built out a business plan. I filmed for an entire month, and then I published my videos starting on December 5th of 2020. And I was able to get the first deal under contract within about 90 days of starting the channel. Now, over the last 9 months of 2021, I ended up closing 64 transactions for $33.5 million in volume, right at $1 million in GCI my very first year. And of course, Travis was right there beside me. He helped out quite a bit. And then 2022 completely blew up. And over 2023 and 2024, we were still able to generate 7 figures from our YouTube channel, despite 2023 and 2024 being terrible markets. And so now those of you that are getting into real estate right now, or you're looking at the opportunity to transition over to EXP, EXP, you've waited for the right time because now co-sponsorship is in play. And what that means is that you can actually pick 2 people to sponsor you at EXP. Now, this has been a challenge for us over the last couple of years because most people that come to us want to just partner with us directly. But a few times there has been agents that have come to us and, they've been kind of caught in the middle because they're like, hey, Levi, I really like you and I love the YouTube program, but, I live in San Diego and I don't know, I'm close to Kyle Whissel or Dan Beers, these mega teams that really have a lot of training and support in place. And so they're kind of like, I want to work with you, but at the same time, I kind of want that in-office experience, or I want to be close to a team. And so they're just a little torn between those two. Actually, I had an agent in Hawaii we were talking with, and they were already pretty good with YouTube. And, they wanted to join us because they had followed us and gone through that process and really enjoyed all the content we did. So that relationship, again, was there. But at the same time, they wanted to be a part of this other movement, so to speak, because it offered agents a lot more on the back end other than just YouTube. And I admit, look, we've been kind of pigeonholed on YouTube. Of course, we've developed our own systems and processes over the last few years, and Travis is a beast when it comes to conversion and actually converting those clients when they come in. But at the same time, that's not for everybody. So this doesn't happen often, but a few times people have had to make the choice, and sometimes they'll choose us, and sometimes they'll choose a different sponsor. And it's been like, you know what? Hey, I've always wanted what's best for you as an agent. But now here, and the challenging thing for us is because we sponsor people from not just across the nation, but across the world. Because of our YouTube presence, of course, that gives us global reach. And so we have agents reaching out from the different 24 countries that EXP is a part of, wanting us to sponsor them as well so they get that YouTube support. Again, when somebody joins us in our organization, we provide you access to everything we have. We don't charge for anything unless it's editing, because that is a hard cost to us. But we're also able to place editors with you or find somebody for you if you want to pay them directly. But overall, all of our coaching, all of our support, everything that we have, we provide that at no cost to our EXP partners. And that's a big value proposition for those of you that are looking to join. If you're a team lead or a broker and you partner with us, then your whole team or brokerage gets access to our entire YouTube training. And of course, team leads and brokers love that because they want their agents to be a lot more productive. But again, the disadvantage for us is that, again, we're pigeonholed kind of into YouTube. And so if somebody was like, well, I do like you guys, but I don't even know if YouTube's a good fit for me, so I might partner with somebody else. Now, the other side to that is, we partner people, let's say all over the country, and Denver, Colorado. The thing is that if somebody's in Denver, then it's really hard to maintain that relationship, especially with a brand new agent just over Zoom. And yes, we all have full intention to attend every single training that we possibly can on Zoom as long as possible. But, it just, schedules conflict. Real estate is up and down sometimes, and we get that. But, if there's a team based in Denver and I sponsor that person and I sponsored you in Denver, then unless you join that team, there's no real incentive for them to support or train or help out. Now, I think most agents would out of the goodness of their heart, but at the same time, it's not really fair to them, and they're not obligated to spend time, energy, or effort with you just because you're in EXP. Now, if they're doing, meetups or I don't know, they might say, yeah, come and join anytime, but otherwise, they probably want to reserve that for their direct team members or people that they sponsor into their organization. And so now for us, I think this is a huge advantage because we sponsor so many people across the nation and across the world that now we can actually pick some of the top team leaders in your city to support you as well. So again, let's use San Diego for an example. Kyle Whissel and Dan Beer are two of the top producers in the company. Actually, I believe Kyle was number 1 last year. Dan was right there with them, or maybe I know they go back and forth. They're big time, right? Kind of like Veronica Figueroa over in Orlando, Florida. So you could be in Orlando or San Diego. And this is the really cool thing about this now is you could allow us to be your sponsor. You get all of our YouTube training, all of our coaching, all of our support. But let's say you're based in San Diego and we co-sponsor you with someone like Kyle Whistle. And I've spoken to Kyle about this, but not all the the ins and outs of that. Now, ideally, and of course, all this has to be established with the team that would do that. So I'm not saying Kyle or Dan would do this, and I'm not saying they wouldn't do it. So just don't let me put words in their mouths. I'm just using them as an example because they're a big team there. But let's say if we work out a partnership, I could just say Betty Sue, right? She's a big team over in San Diego. And Betty Sue says, yeah, I'll co-sponsor with you. And guess what? I'll allow that agent to come into the office, attend our meetings, our trainings. If they're close by, they don't have to join the direct team. But because if they're a solo agent and they want to be a solo agent, sure, they can join us on some of our trainings or things like that. Or maybe you do want to be a part of their team, but still have access to all of our YouTube training and support. That is a huge win-win. And I know those mega teams are usually constantly growing their team. And so if you're looking for that team support as a new agent, then this is a great opportunity that we can co-sponsor with a local team in your area to give you that local support, and you still have access to us and everything we have. And that's if you want us to be your primary sponsor. It works both ways, even on the back side. If let's say Betty Sue in San Diego wanted to co-sponsor with us and we became the co-sponsor, we will still do that. We will still provide our YouTube training and courses and coaching at no cost because you will be a part of our organization. And so if you're local and you want to be on a team, or maybe you don't, again, you could be sponsored by a local person. Maybe you are a boutique brokerage, and you already have 20 or 30 agents under you, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to maintain my independence, but I do want to be sponsored by somebody locally so I can have that collab and we can kind of work together, but I still want access to all of the YouTube, then that would work too. So there's many different scenarios that can be thrown out here, but ultimately, if you're thinking about joining right now, regardless of whether you're brand new, seasoned, team lead, or a broker, you have a huge advantage to be able to name two sponsors. And on the flip side, for us, I think this is a huge win for us because that's something that we've missed out on as far as sponsoring people nationwide. It's probably been the biggest reason, in all transparency, why people have left, is because that they don't feel like they have that local support. And again, it's just, there was no obligation from a local team to provide that just because you're a part of EXP. And because EXP does not have offices, then these big teams or local teams or brokerages would have their own offices. And I understand that they've got, space limitations, they've got resource limitations. All of that matters. And like I said, some may welcome you in just because you're with EXP, but at the same time, it may not be 100% fair to them, to their capabilities or resources as well, because there's really no financial incentive to do that unless you join their team. All right, so hopefully that made sense for you as far as how that works on the co-sponsorship. Regardless of all the details, just know that if you're not that detail oriented, that's really all you need to know, is that you can now have two sponsors, a primary sponsor and a co-sponsor. Now, it is very important that your primary sponsor is probably the person that directly invited you to join EXP, or the person that you want to directly sponsor with. Then, if you have a co-sponsor in mind, that's great. If you don't worry about it. Your primary sponsor should have a co-sponsor in place that could really make this relationship even better. That's the most ideal situation. I know for us, if we primary sponsor anybody, we are going to place you with a co-sponsor strategically, likely in your local market, so that you have that local support. And we will have a great partnership with them. So whatever you need, they will be more than happy to help you out, as long as you don't ask for them to just give you money, right? So that's the opportunity. But now I want to jump in my computer, just show you some of the details for those of you that are a little bit more detail oriented, or maybe you've got a little bit of that analytical driven mind. That's okay. So let's take a look at the stats and data of this program. Okay, so you'll see here we've got the power of two. Now you'll see here the co-sponsor program provides extra support to new EXP agents and advisors beyond standard sponsorship. Co-sponsors agree to take on additional responsibilities and in return are eligible to receive level 1 revenue share earnings plus a fast start bonus, 50% of revenue share in the first year from their sponsees transactions, in addition to levels 2 through 7 from the sponsees downline when applicable. The primary sponsor, the sponsor chosen during the onboarding that most influence the new agent or advisor to join EXP, will continue to benefit from levels 2 through 7 revenue share earnings, FLQA qualifications, and stock grants. Now, I know that is a mouthful, but again, if you're analytical, that maybe this is sinking in a little bit, but the reality is that none of this really matters to you until you decide to start sponsoring people yourself in EXP. And the one thing I always emphasize is, like, let's get you onboarded. Let's get your production up and running. Some of you will just have production and nothing will ever, nothing will feel like it happened, as far as you'll just have a smooth transition and just keep working your business. If you're a new agent, we've got to get that production ramped up. I mean, the most important thing is that you start selling homes. Even if you're a seasoned agent coming over with listings or buyers under your belt, you got to get through some of those transactions just to get familiar with the whole process and get rolling again. That's the most important. And then, yes, some of you may just want to start sponsoring people from the start, and that's okay as well. And that's where understanding all of this probably will come into a little bit more play. But the reality is again, for me, I'm not even digging too deep in this. I already understand that, look, this is all about support. This is about community. This is about partnership. That's the most important thing. I think the levels and all of this, who's FLQA over here and who's over there, will take care of itself. That's nothing I ever really worry about. I don't dig in too deep on that stuff, and I just let it roll out. So you can see here, enhanced support, personalized guidance for new agents, improving their onboarding experience and performance, foster stronger relationships and a supportive community within the EXP network. Co-sponsors are eligible to receive level 1 revenue share. And let me just scroll down here again. This is all grow your network. Who's eligible for the program? Oh, this is very important right here. This is starting May 1st, all right? So I know you're seeing this video right now, but if you joined before then and after May 24th of 2025, then we can go back and add a co-sponsor. But otherwise, this program is in full effect on May 1st. And then at that point, once you get sponsored, you only have 5 days to choose a co-sponsor. But again, myself, I will likely help that person choose the co-sponsor because I want to be strategic about it. Again, if you come in and you're like, hey, Levi, I really like you, but I really like Dan over in San Diego as well, I want you to be sponsor and Dan co-sponsor, or I want Dan to be sponsor and you to be co-sponsor. Cool. If you've already got that figured out, no problem. We can handle that. But if you don't, then I would like to strategically place a co-sponsor with you. So going down here, let me see. This is probably where's the little graph? This is probably the easiest way to show this. Revenue share, you can see primary sponsor gets revenue share on level 2 through 7. They get the FLQA status. They get the stock grants. They get revenue share. Level 1 goes to the co-sponsor, and they also get 50% of the fast start bonus. And probably the best way to explain this is my good friend Russ Legan has a quick video which I want to play for you. Again, just for those of you that are detail oriented, I'm going to close out with his video. It's only about 3 minutes, but it's a great explanation of this program. The main thing is that you reach out, you can book a call with myself or Travis in the description below. We'd be happy to talk through this with you a lot more in depth and one-on-one. Everyone's situation is different, and overall, we would just want to see if we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us, and if we can grow this together. Again, this is going to be an amazing opportunity that EXP is now put into place, and I cannot wait to take advantage of it with you and hopefully many more. So go ahead and check out this quick video from Russ just to kind of wrap this up, and we'll see you on the next video.
Hi there, Russ Lagan, VP of Growth for EXP. And if you haven't heard already, we've got an exciting new program coming to us, 2.0, one more thing at EXP, which is co-sponsor. So you may have heard of co-sponsor before. Other brands have co-sponsor. And a lot of times in the other brands, here's how co-sponsor goes. Steve decides he wants to join the brokerage, and he really likes Michael. Michael and him go way back. He loves Michael, but man, Olive's got some amazing stuff that she's doing that Steve would like to learn. So in a typical co-sponsor scenario, you'll have a 50-50 split. Each one of them gets half of the revenue, right? Or in one of the other brands, you've got a 45% split, 45% split, and then 10% goes to the company. Not that those are bad, but EXP looks at that kind of stuff and says, hey, we can next level this. Watch this, y'all. So here's what happens with Steve. Steve comes in with that same scenario, and it could be, I want to work with somebody else because they've got cool stuff, or I want to work with somebody else that's local. This gives you the opportunity to partner with anybody in the whole company as long as they're not within your own immediate 7 levels. So that means pretty much everybody is fair game. So with this being said, Steve says, I want to hang out with Michael. I really like that guy. He's going to name Michael as sponsor. He's going to name Olive as co-sponsor. So what happens now is Olive takes up what would have been the level 1 position. So that rev share doesn't really change. No more dollars are going out, no more dollars are going in. It's the exact same thing. So it makes it so this is sustainable and doesn't break our rev share model or change it. Nothing changes in the dollars going out. So what happens with Steve is when Steve does a transaction, Michael gets paid rev share as if Steve is on his level 2. Which is great because now Michael's going to get paid at 20% since Steve is on his level 2. And the revenue share is going to flow up above the sponsor like it always does in the past. In this one, the scenario with Olive will get paid rev share, which is pretty cool. And then the revenue share stops, does not flow up her revenue share organization also. So with that being said, here's the fun part. Steve has a closing, Olive wins, and Michael wins, which is pretty cool. And Michael's organization gets the rev share just like in the past. A couple of additional things is revenue share goes to Michael. Michael also gets a stock grant being the sponsor, just like we do now. He's going to get the FLQA credit. So when Steven does a sale, it gives him the ability to open levels by getting the FLQA credit for productive agents. And he also will get paid on levels 2 through 7. You may say, Russ, why 2 through 7? Well, Olive is over here. She's getting 1. He's going to get paid on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if somebody pops in down here on level 8, he doesn't get paid, just like it is now. The cool part is Olive now, she's going to get rev share, which is pretty cool. And she's going to get revenue share on levels 1 through 7. So if Steve brings in Joe, Jane, Jack, and so forth as they grow down, she's going to get paid on level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in her organization, which is pretty cool. The other thing is she's going to get the bonus fast start program for 50%. So you get revenue share 50% in year 1. So Steve is closing deals, you get 50% of the rev share for year 1. So with that being said, here's what happens. Olive wins, Michael wins, Steve wins. He gets the support. He gets to hang out with the people he wants to. He gets the knowledge base, he gets the experience, and he gets to work with both organizations to be able to take his business to the next level. That's what it looks like to 2.0 next level co-sponsor at EXP.